Greetings, ladies, gents, oddities, and all the in-betweens. I'm CrimsonSlave, and this is probably going to be a long one. This is my warning. If you don't want to watch the whole video, it's probably going to be long. So, I have a lot to cover in this video. I don't have anything, by the way. I don't have anything. I don't have anything. But I have a lot to cover. And I feel before I can cover what's going on, I need to preface how this month has been for me. Okay. Last month going into this month, had its own issues with itself. I had managers change out on me. I had to deal with things with the store. November has just been bad. It's just been bad. Like, I wouldn't say it's the worst, because I think last year, 2020 kind of takes the cake of all things being bad. I think 2019 wasn't a super great year for me. Losing a car, relationships starting back up and failing, being fired, my health being worse than it was. 2019 was a pretty bad year. So this month, November, has been bad. Now, I'll admit that a lot of November's problems were personal problems. Whether it was the fact that, like, I found out, like, I couldn't afford new glasses that I really wanted to get. It also included cracking 3 teeth on this side of my mouth that I can't really get repaired, and my consulting on prior to this showed me that in my current structure of how much I make and what I pay for, I couldn't afford to get fixed. I had anniversaries of bad things come up, like my grandfather almost dying. And if you ask around about me, I'm not super attached to people or emotions or people. So, like, my grandfather almost dying a year ago with his stroke and everything didn't really affect me super hard. I'll admit it affected me, but it affected me super hard. But what bothered me was that my mom left to go to Florida and no one told me what was going on. And this month, I'm struggling with a lot of different problems. That was a thing. 2 years of being single was kind of bad. My stuff being returned to me, a relationship of about 8 years being returned to me without a whole thing. Not being any further along in life, the house problem withstanding, celebrating its anniversary. A lot of things with this month. I don't like November. I don't like November. But a lot of things in the recent years have made November a bad place for me. And in a different reality, I would have shared this with Grell and I would have worked through it, but that's a then thing and a now thing. And there's that. I came close to 3 breakdowns this month due to outside sources. anniversary of a really, really close brush with actual suicide. It hasn't been, it didn't start good. It wasn't good until then. Along with that, with like everyone who lives in America, okay, not everyone, maybe more people like me, but like I've also come to the conclusion that like I was, I'll get to it later, but like I'm not in a place with the amount of gas that I spend to go to work financially fine enough to afford things. So I think for the past three paychecks, I've chosen gas over food. Now, like, don't get me wrong, like, if you watch these videos every Sunday, I've gotten something. I got a bunch of stuff all at once. I got my Mimic, my extra pops, games, and I got all that stuff for a lot of dumb reasons, but I also got it because I wanted to have one last thing. I want to have one last thing before I needed to start buckling down with more hours coming up with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And the rush into Christmas, I knew if I just like cut back a little bit more, I might be able to get to a standpoint that I'd be more stable than I am now. Because like currently, financially, I'm not doing super well. And that mostly comes to the fact that like the current gas price is $3.35, I think. Well, kind of average $3.35. I drive 42 miles one direction to go to work, and that makes 84 miles both ways. So my car gets, hypothetically, 35 miles a gallon. So I spend 2 gallons every single day to go to work and then come home. Now, I work 5 days a week usually at different times, so it's about $11 a day, $55 a week, which is $110. And like with the bills that I have, you know, new car payment, I kind of I kind of spread the bills out between 2 paychecks. One paycheck is a car payment, the other paycheck is an insurance payment. And between that is subscriptions. And between that is subscriptions and cell phone payments. So I try to space all that out. But like in the middle of October, I wasn't doing super well then either. But middle of October, I kind of knew that I had to afford less conveniences to get to work. That kind of meant that I needed to buy less food, try to get by on the bare minimum to try to survive. And I don't know if that's the best idea for someone currently to do, but it's kind of what I was forced to do at the time. So there's that. So I'm going to leave that point there. I'll come back to it after I explain this. Because I said that before this month ends, worse things happen. And I have 2 things. The first was my car died. It died because of lack of gas. I got in my car with Phoenix to go get the gas that he owed me, and I was going to be able to get gas. The car died in the middle of the road, and that kind of sucked. And along with my car dying in the middle of the road, I thought my car told me that I had 3 problems wrong. My engine has an issue with it. The answer to that is apparently a throttle body. Maybe. Who cares? Second thing was my battery, and the third thing was gas. I went on a limb and thought it was the battery. It was like super cold, below freezing. I woke up in the morning with gas. So I figured it was just the battery. unfortunately, it ended up not being the battery. And I kind of called for help and had a mini argument with Grell about a whole separate thing with that. And then I kind of went to work. I borrowed Jerry's car, went to work, and I got to work. Got through most of my entire day. I before I got there a little earlier because Jerry's car drives faster than my car does. So I found out that before like I drove trying to like calm down, not letting this new addition to this month getting worse happen, and my car got worse. And it got worse. So I had it got towed by the police. And it got towed. So I was going to get money from my grandparents. My grandparents were going to send it to me on Friday. It's a whole other thing in itself. But Jerry, concerned about my well-being, got my car untowed. And that was super cool. And I thought, this can't be it. This could be it. My car getting towed the next day, getting fixed. That's a great example of things just not working out. So I figured something else would happen. And it did. I resigned from GameStop. Now, I told my grandparents, I told other people, I called people, I consulted with my good friend Omega in California, I consulted with my grandparents, I talked to Jerry about it, I talked to Phoenix about it, and I had some free time today playing some Far Cry 6, which I started this week, so I'm super happy about, I'll get to that later, and super happy about that, talked to him about it, and we've all kind of like come to the conclusion that if I am to a point where I'm not able to buy myself groceries, gas, and my bills and support myself, that possibly driving all the way to Maryland for more money isn't compensated right for me to survive. Now, I say that because I'm fine with it. Like, I feel with any other, like, the jobs that I've quit or been fired from, there's things with it. Like, Amazon fired me for being diabetic, essentially, because, like, I was at a bad place with my blood sugar, and, like, I just had high blood sugar, which meant I peed a lot. I went through a lot of hoops to get some leniency on that, and inevitably, it left me a big fire. So, I had an issue with that. I fought to keep that job. I kind of quit working I quit working at the SS Liberation, and I didn't feel anything about it. Like, I felt weird about it for a while, but I focused on school. Well, it happened after graduating again. So, after that, I kind of worked on that and sat down a little depressed about life. But I got a job in Amazon after leaving the SS Liberation. So, that kind of worked out, and it leads to that whole bad year they snuck to 2019. But I say this because it's true. The amount of money that I'm spending on gas and the amount of money that I'm spending to go to my job wasn't working out financially. Along with the other problems that came with some of that stuff I mentioned before the start of the month, started affecting my job. My clothes attire started being affected by it because, fun fact, I've lost 18 pounds due to my gross negligence on not eating. Like, I eat things here and there. I've gotten a few things on the way home. I've eaten snacks. But I've lost about 15 pounds. Just out of not eating and mild starvation. Not proud of it, but it is what it is. I can look back and find factors of why that shouldn't be. Maybe if I didn't spend so much money at my dance concert on my new shirts, maybe I would have had some extra money. Maybe having like a paycheck and a half where I had severely reduced hours may have been a factor. But overall, just like the middle of October, I just spent less money on food because I just didn't make any sense. I think the last thing that I bought food wise was I bought a bunch of tea for myself, and I bought a box of Hot Pockets, and that's kind of how I survived for a while on Hot Pockets, like a Hot Pocket a day, and tea every day for most of November. Not proud of it, but it is what it is. Because of that, and other factors, but mostly because of that, my clothes haven't been fitting correctly. All of my jeans don't fit because I think that all my jeans are like at like a 32 or a 34, because that's usually where I was thing-wise, because I don't exercise very much, but I do eat, or I did. So a lot of my clothes didn't work. So I kind of that problem. Not wearing a belt also is a factor in it, but I kind of gained complaints about the appearance of my ass a little bit too much. And my attitude based on a lot of stuff, like that weird thing that I talked about in that conversation with Grell, and other factors, and feeling left out and betrayed and all that stuff. All of that goes into my attitude being bad. My clothes choices and things were an issue, and to be fair, Grell talked to me about it, and we tried to make something work to improve it, because it was something that was obviously affecting the store. And there was reasons to believe that I should improve that. I started to. But due to a bad interaction with an employee, and the domino effect of that shot off extremely quickly, came to the conclusion on McGraw that I should quit. I resigned. I'll work my next 2 weeks. I have a good check coming, a 14-hour check coming, so I'll be okay at least for a month. And after that month, I'll be fine. After that month, I'll find a job. But currently, there's a lot of places hiring at the moment, and I don't have the luxury of doing nothing. I have a car payment, and due to losing my last car and car insurance, I don't want to go back down that road again. Being stuck being stuck in one place, not having the ability to go get food when I need it, when I have money, and not being able to support myself and not being able to go places, is a very limiting factor in my life that I strive to fix. And I'm going to make sure that doesn't affect my life too hard. I set an appointment with the Department of Libraries. Those are the people that helped me get a lot of stuff back on track back in January, which was super useful. And I can't wait for those people. I can't talk to people and hope I can find something else. If not, there's other jobs that I can easily do that have opened back up in places that are even hiring incentive bonuses. I'm going to get a job. I can't afford not to get a job, and I need to get these things done. The will benefit of all this is that I feel happier. Now, I'm not saying that like working at my job was bad or anything, or I wasn't doing things I want to do, but the possibility of having more money spent on less gas and being closer to home, and the overall possibility of making more money than I currently was, has made a lot of things better for me. But what? So like, when I say that I'm fine with what's happening, I'm fine with what's happening. Me not working there will mean I'll spend less gas. It means that I'll have more sanity. It means that I won't have questions of how my free time is being spent. And I just feel that overall I might just be better suited in a different, doing something else. Now, that was the thing. Those two things that worse. It's Sunday. I have 2 more days for some things. And I hope that I'm going to close this fucking door on things being bad and work on next month. And just work on this new job, whatever it may be. And trying really desperately to get myself back on track. So many things about my life right now are just going wrong. I just have problems with everything. Friends are an issue that I really want to work on. But, like, I have other problems. Like, I've been falsely accused of doing something that I didn't do. And I'm not good with that, because this is the 3rd thing that I've been falsely accused of. And with complete honesty, I do not know how these things have been levied against me, but I don't have a say in what they are. It's been falsely accused, it's out there on the record, and despite the fact that I have no reason to do the things that I'm accused of doing, it's believed. I got threatened. That was cool. I got threatened to be arrested, which I haven't had in a while. Like, I don't know. Like, as an Irish person, obviously black, I haven't had a lot of problems with that. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a great kid, but I don't do things that involve police involvement very often. A few tickets. A cop that became good friends with in Camden for the amount of times that he caught me walking around doing random things that he didn't understand. Became good friends with that cop. But, like, I just don't get threatened very often. Like, occasionally someone was like, I'll see you in hell, fuck you. But, like, to be actually threatened by someone recently, weird experience. Wasn't worried about it. I'm not worried about it now. But I was threatened by someone. And to be fair, the reason why that person threatened me was connected to the reason why it's connected to a whole different thing. But I kind of understand, in a moment of passion and fear, that people react to things adversely. But I don't know how I feel about the person who threatened me and some of the stuff that came up toward the end of him wrapping up his threat. But I'm not here to go off on personal tangents. Wow, no. I personally don't feel it's worth it to be super upset about things that I don't have any control over. I just don't. But that brings us to the other thing I want to talk about in this video. And it's kind of the thing that worries me about what's going on. I pointed out that I feel like I'm losing my friends. And to some degree, that fear is warranted due to not a lot of communication and not seeing eye to eye on things and a lot of stress in a short period of time, all of the problems that are happening. So I don't know where my friendship lies. But having someone that you're friends with for a long period of time suddenly tell you that they can't trust you and not giving you the benefit of the doubt are just some of the things that I didn't think would ever come to pass. But not only that, I never knew that like being cut deep could be a very simple jab. I pointed out, I think 2 videos ago, that being stabbed from the front is not great, but it hurt because of what happened. This connected to a lot of other things. I don't know what our friendship is. I want our friendship to survive, and I want our friendship to be good. But the absence of evidence isn't truth. And when I say things, sometimes, when I say things from a very deep place of honesty, I just don't understand why sometimes people just don't believe me, or what I say doesn't matter to other people. And I kinda have to live with that. Because I feel that I'm approaching a coin flip. Because I feel that like I'm approaching a point that it's going to be hard to say where things lie because of how everything is interconnected. And I wish I could explain further, but I can't. But it will make sense to people that do understand. Does this add to this month being bad? 100%. 100%. Being forced to resign, weird. Going to my old store and them trying to temporarily talk me out of what I was doing. Amazingly confusing. But life. This month's been bad. And I hope deep, deep down, that I never have a worse year. Like 2020, bad. 2019, also bad. This year is almost done. And one of the things that I struggled with this month was I didn't know what to be thankful for. This last point, when we leave this video on. Because I thought that by now, I'd have a list. I'd have a list of things that I'm thankful for. Because I think that last year, when I made my video last year, it was mostly full of things that I cared about. I bought Borderlands Collector's Edition for Xbox One. I cared about that. There was just more bad than good. And I think that when I try to make these videos, I try to focus on the good in my week. Whether my week is bad or what's happening in my week, I try to point out what the things I got and the things that improved or the things that slowly made things better. And I feel that I was gonna make this video. I was gonna make my video, and I was gonna have it done by Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, I was in a bad mental space because with everything going wrong and all these problems, it made me feel like there wasn't anything to be thankful for. Because I kind of believe in the Paramore lyric, for all I know, the best is over and the worst is yet to come. And like, so many things I could like say, quotes, that like, I feel make my life better. Like, You hold your breath, I'll hold my liquor. Miserable at best. Like, I am a product of my actions. And when it comes to the things that I do, the things that I say, I try in the end to find good in what's going on in my life. It's hard sometimes. Being suicidal, it's kind of my coping mechanism because the thing that led me to 3-4 years ago to commit suicide was the fact that I was reminded that I had people that cared about me. Grell texted me, Phoenix called me, and I thought about my mom, my grandparents, and despite how low I was feeling due to an ex, I felt going into the situation I put myself in that committing suicide meant that I would create less problems for the people that exist in my life. And having those two people contact me in a time period that they did reminded me that having people in my life means that I support the people and do things with these people, and those people will miss me, and me not being there, I guess in some way will affect their lives. And I've tried since that moment when I passed out on the bathroom floor and woke up to try to focus on the better things, because that's a part of being okay with the problems in my life. I don't have a lot of luxuries to overcome my problems. I can only really stave off poverty and try to stay optimistic and happy when things go wrong. It's dark, but it's true. I don't tell a lot of things. So I thought, honestly, on Thanksgiving, that everything going wrong in the month and things piling on top of each other, that all this is an example of I have no reason to be happier. But I've come away from that, and driving home after putting in irrigation really does give you some perspective on my life. And I think myself better of it. I know technically it might help my friendship. It means I'll distance from people that don't like me and are slightly making my life harder. It means that I can focus on some more stuff that I've wanted to do. And my time won't be monopolized with other things. For example, I finished watching Arcane. I got close to finishing it, and I finally got it done. I'm super happy that I got it done. Arcane was super good, and I wanted to finish it, but I just needed something to get me there. I finished it. I'm in love with how it ended, and I'm super excited to see how 2 plays out. I, after watching a lot of YouTube, got to a random moment where I thought, what am I doing with my life? I should do something else. And I watched the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. That's a 4-hour cut of the movie. When I tell you that I've been dealing with things recently, and I have. And one of the things that I've been dealing with is the fact that I haven't been doing things that make me happy. It felt really good to just watch a movie, like a whole movie, uncut, have fun watching it. It felt amazing to watch Arcane. It sucks that I have no one to talk about it with, but I watched it and it feels good to be consuming media again. As an insomniac and someone who spends a great deal of time by himself, enjoying cinema is something that I've wanted to do, but I haven't gotten myself to do. I haven't got myself to watch movies. I play games occasionally, but I push myself to not even finishing those sometimes. It felt good to complete something, and I don't think recently I've completed many things. And that was something that I actually super was happy about with everything going on. I sat down, I watched the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League on Thanksgiving, despite all of my reservations, and my anger, and my annoyance. I finished Arcane. Like, these things sound mundane. To me, they're extremely huge. And in some ways, resigning from GameStop for the benefit of the people that work there may be one of the few things that has been lifted from me to enjoy. Being threatened by the person that threatened me, I know that we'll never be friends. I know that the gap that has come up and the things that has happened, I don't have to ever be friends with that person because they've made it very clear that that's not something that will happen because of the point that they got to. Which means I no longer need to interact with that entity because that person doesn't want me in their life. And despite trying to get to a point that maybe for the benefit of other people, I could put on another fake smile and nod my way through what's going on, it feels amazing to know that I don't need to lie to myself to be okay with someone I don't like. I left all of that behind me in high school when I just gave up dealing with people. That makes me happier. The fact that problems that have come around me as a person won't affect the store anymore, extremely happy, because now I don't have to be a new cause of stress. Knowing that I don't have to put in 42 miles, 84 miles a day to go to a job that's bringing me down, making me upset, making me depressed, angry, and pretty recently not happy with everything that's been going on. I can't tell you how happy I am to know that I don't have to put on a customer service smile and then put on a layer of contentment and pretend that I am the problem. And that feels super amazing. And I'm happy that that's not a thing that I have to do anymore. What it means for my friendship, I don't know. But I am happier with what's going on in my life, and there's that. Now, this week is going to literally be job hunting. But, I'm not even super concerned about that. There's a place super near me that's offering anywhere between $16 either between $15 on the low end and $20 just for a regular job, and it's less than 7 miles away. I can't super beat that. I can't super beat that. I'm looking forward to that possibility. There's like 4 or 5 jobs around here that have actually been posting online. And in my searching in Indeed for something a little bit better, I found that I could possibly start a new job this week. And with a paycheck coming in 2 weeks and another different check, I might be able to do some of the things that I set out to do this year, like changing banks, which is something that I desperately wanted to do. So I'll be able to change banks. That'll be super cool. There's that. I don't know. Having less stress currently filling my head, less problems surrounding me for what I need to be going through has allowed me to focus on me. And there's that. That's kind of where I want to end this video. And I've tried really hard to not focus on something that was said after the threat that was levied to me. Because I feel that with everything going wrong, it just adds fuel to the fire. And I'm sure in some ways it's bad. So I guess I won't go down that road. But I will make a statement. I, throughout my life, have screwed up. I am the shining example of screw up. I just am. I had problems in high school. I generally stayed at a job for about 2.5 years. And I've had a lot of issues getting to the point where I am now. And when it comes to my life as it is, I never really thought that I'd be at this point. Like, I have an obsession with buying pops. I just do. But that kind of comes from a whole thing about, like, not having things and being homeless 3 times. And there's that. But when it comes to things that I never thought I would get or want, I never thought I'd get to this point. I never thought I'd own a Mac. Like, I own an iMac. I thought that, like, I'd never be able to reach that. And I have. I set out to do the channel, and I felt when I got to milestones, I would change things. I bought a camera for my setup because I wanted to do things. I played with functionality, and I have a light. And I fixed this to be better. I plan to get a mic to have better sound quality. Because I just don't have it in me to do nothing. Like, I frequently say that I'm a lazy person, and I kind of am. But I've come very far with things. Candid, I've had a lot of help getting to this point. And I can't say that getting to this point was easy. Because of the things that have been involved, me getting here have been done other things. But at the same time, I've helped and encouraged people get to where they are. Well, not my friend Mega. My friend Omega is 100% self-made. This self-made person, and we have friendship and we have great conversations. But like, I don't think I've done anything really to help his life. But I don't know. I've gotten to this point with the things that I've done and the character that I have, and I've survived and adapted and become better at things. Like, if you would have told me 6 years ago that I'd have a house, that I'd live in a house, not an apartment, like I live in a house, have a car, have my own car. That should kind of sell. Like, should have some latest car, but like I'd have a car. I'd be able to buy my own TV. I'd own a Mac. I'd be able to pay for Adobe, and I'd be able to have so many clothes that they all don't fit in a dresser. That I'd be living unconnected to my mother, and I'd own a Switch and a PS5 or Xbox Series X. I wouldn't have believed you, because those are things meant for people that have a different life than I do. I'm predestined to be poor. I'm going to probably always kind of be overweight. But like, I'm doing things differently, and I'm not becoming sad over these things. I've resigned from my job, but I'm looking for another job to keep my momentum going. I don't know. I feel that a lot of things going on, that I've done a lot of deeper perspective on things, and I'm going to get better. This month is going to end my problems. I'm going to get better. I'm going to hopefully work on my friendship and get that back on track, and hope that the problem that's causing a lot more problems will get itself figured out. Hopefully I come out being believed. But I don't know anymore. I've gone on way too long. But me having things usually is the thing that brings in these inner perspectives in my life. Thank you for putting up with whatever this was. Maybe next week I'll have something. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But I know that I'm going to keep trying to keep this feeling of being at ease. And I'm going to try to keep doing things. Like watching more movies, and making projects, and drawing on my iPad, and that. That's what I'll do. I'm leaving this video off with a thing. I am challenging myself to this. Before in January, I was going to say for my birthday. That's a little bit out there. I have wanted a new iPad. I want an iPad Pro. iPad Pros are insane. I spent like $1,200. And I wanted to look into this. Sorry. I'm done. I'll do it. I'll end this after this. But I really want an iPad. And I haven't watched the last two Apple presentations because I am not in a financial place where I can afford new Apple things. I got this iMac an iMac off eBay from a wholesaler used who just does use iMacs. So I wanted the new fancy iPad 2 with the case and the pencil. And I found out that Apple made an iPad mini. So it's an iPad mini. It's an iPad mini, but it's next to an iPad. So it's mini. I can do things like do my current iPad. I can get it with more storage my current iPad. And it does the pencil thingy. Does a pencil snap thing. And it has a new way to unlock it. And I've looked into it a lot. And it's actually a lot cheaper. While I was on the site, I realized that I can recycle old Apple products. So I might recycle my old Apple Watch, and I also might pay this money for it because I really wanted this iPad. I really wanted a new iPad so I can do all the cool features on it. But being practical and getting an iPad Series 2 with the M chip is not practical for me to do right now. But spending about $800 to get a lesser model with more space, double functionality, and does the core two things that I want, I super can't be against that. So that's the thing that I'm going to focus on next year. This year, next year, that's the thing that I'm going to focus on. That's the thing I'm going to get. I'm going to get the new iPad 2, new iPad mini. I hope by the time I get it figured, by the time I buy it, they'll have the fancy case that I want. That's kind of that one as well. But we'll see when I get there. As I said, I'm in a great place, and weirdly, thinking about everything, I've actually improved my mood. Well, candid, that may have been playing Far Cry 6 with my good friend Strider, but I don't know. I just kind of feel better about a lot of stuff now. But if you don't like, not a fan of long videos with slightly stuttering and iris slurs, please stop watching these videos. Because I'm going to make more. I'm going to make more. Like, I'm going to get to year 3 of this insane thing that I do every week. I'm going to make more of these videos. It's just going to happen. But if you don't want to deal with it, or you don't like my voice or anything else, I invite you, ignore me. Leave. Because so much of what makes my week better is this feeling right here that I'm having making this video. And if you don't like it, stop watching them. But if you have friends' curiosity or you want to see if something else actually does go bad, next Sunday, there'll be a new video. I'll have more to talk about. I might have stuff, maybe I won't. Who knows? But until then, I thank you for watching. I thank you for putting up with this. I thank you for getting through 54 minutes of me talking. And I hope that I didn't take up that much of your time. But I had a lot to say, a lot to get out, and a lot of things I want to cover before I make the video. And I won't leave anything out. Is there any music news I want to talk about? Nope. So, that's it. I will see you guys all again next week.